Welcome back to Once Upon a Page. As we talked about last time, we decided that we would give you guys a taste of some of our writing. And so today is Erin's turn, and Erin's going to read you a little section from her book, The Seer.
Yeah. Alrighty. This is a section from The Seer, like Amy said. The Cleveland Chronicles is the series. And just to kind of give you a little bit of background, because it's kind of a few chapters in here. Thea is a 17-year-old that can see into the spiritual realm, and it kind of happens in a very unexpected way. It really surprises her, throws her off guard, and she is thrust in the middle of sort of a feud between two brothers. One's an angel and one is a demon. And for this little section here that I wanted to read for you guys, they're trying to get her to come with them to get her safe. And so that just kind of shows you where we're at. Matthias covered it with his hand. Don't scream. We are here to help you, but you have to remain calm. We're not going to hurt you. Thea stilled, and Matthias decided to slowly remove his hand from her mouth. She sat up, clearly still leery of him. You said you're an angel. She frowned when she looked at Victor, and you're definitely not an angel. Victor snorted. How do you know? Maybe I am an angel. Perhaps I'm completely crazy, but when I look at you, all I see is a black hole of emptiness. Thea looked over at Matthias, the reality of what she had said starting to sink in. How is this possible? I can hear you, see you, I can even touch you. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel things. The air feels heavier. Thea jumped up out of bed and started to pace again, mumbling about them locking her up. A helpless feeling weighed down on Matthias. How was he going to get through to her? Victor shot him a look of impatience, so Matthias walked back to Thea to try again. He spoke as quietly and as calmly as he could. I know this is a lot to take in, and we will explain what's going on, but right now I need you to trust me. We have to get you out of here and get you to a safe place. I'm not going anywhere with you. Thea backed up, throwing her hands out in front of her. We can't leave you. You need our help. Matthias's calm demeanor suddenly gave way to the urgency of the situation. Stay away from me. Thea's heart monitor began to beat erratically, and Victor called out a warning to Matthias, closing his eyes as his body began to shake, sending sparks of electricity shooting out of him. Thea looked past both of them and took a hesitant look at the door. Her face suddenly drained of color. What's wrong? Matthias hissed at Victor. What was he doing? This was not the time for Victor to lose his cool. The last thing they needed was an electrical storm in the tiny hospital room. Victor opened his eyes and then turned to Thea, his voice low and icy. Do you feel that? Air so cold that it's pushing on your chest so you can't breathe. Do you hear that sound? The sound of utter silence and fear. You can barely make out the beats of a heart, getting faster and faster. Victor walked toward Thea and stopped, towering over her. Matthias watched as Thea stared up at Victor in horror, her whole body trembling. That's enough, Victor, Matthias warned, pulling on the sleeve of Victor's coat. No, she needs to understand. He turned his attention back to Thea. I can crush you in an instant, cause you so much pain that you wish you were dead. You can see me because you're a seer, the last of your bloodline. The reason I know you are the last of your bloodline is because I've hunted down and destroyed all of your ancestors. Thea took another step backwards until her back hit the hospital room wall, and she had nowhere else to go. Victor placed a hand on the wall beside her head and glared down at her. Sparks of electricity flickered in his fingertips, and Matthias had to make himself stand back. He couldn't condone Victor's methods, but for some odd reason, the beeping of her heart monitor stopped. Her heart was still beating wildly, but not in the panic-induced rhythm it was before. There is someone coming that is bigger, more powerful, and more bloodthirsty than me, and he's coming for you. We have to leave now or we'll never make it. Do you understand? Thea nodded, tears coursing down her face. After a few moments, Victor finally backed away in motion for the door. After you.
I have to say, Victor is my favorite character.
Mine too, mine too.
So where did you come up with the idea of this, the seer seeing into the spiritual realm and how all of that works together?
It's something that I thought about for a long time before I finally started writing it. And I've always been interested in the spiritual realm. And it was actually for a writing workshop that I was taking for my degree. And we had to write a short story on an unlikely hero. And so I got to thinking, I'm like, how fun would it be just to do a fantasy story? Because I had that, I don't know, just deep down I've always wanted to write fantasy. And I never did for some reason. And I was like, I'm going to use this time and this free space to do this and just to see what happens, So I started throwing out like what if questions, What if there was a demon who was tired of being a demon? Can he be redeemed at all? And like what would that story look like? And it just, everything, the whole series come from that workshop. So it was really fun.
Very cool.
It's a really fun dynamic between the brothers too, between Matthias and Victor. With Matthias being an angel, but they have to work together.
They have to work together, yeah.
So did you pull on experience with your own siblings to write?
That's a good question. No one's ever asked me that before. I actually have 2 sisters. I'm the oldest, and
So are you the angel or the demon?
that's a very good question. If they're watching this video, they may have their own idea. I'm just kidding. No, we all get along really great. There's huge age gap between all of us. I'm 12 years older than my youngest sister, so. But we're super close now, but of course you had that sibling rivalry, growing up, and, but yeah, no, maybe pulled a little bit, probably, but we got along pretty well, so not as good as, Matthias and Victor do not get along very well.
No.
but they have their reasons. They have their reasons.
Fun. It adds to it very much.
Yeah.
And I learned something because I always called her Taya when I was reading.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
So you're reading, I'm like, oh, that's her name.
That's funny. That's funny.
There's always something about hearing it in the author's actual voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
helps
that's neat. Yeah.
strengthen. So you've got your 3rd book coming out in February.
Yep, The Silencer.
So you want to read this one and this one now?
Yes,
now.
definitely.
Yes. So it's going through all the fun editing process with the publisher, and it'll be all brand new and shiny in February. So excited. So, and that will wrap up the series.
So exciting. So are you going to miss Victor and Matthias?
Oh my gosh, I cried at the end of the Silencer. I was like, no, I'm not ready. But there could be some more things to come. I'm throwing around some ideas for a prequel to kind of show what happens before all this starts, because there's a lot of history there. And then working on a novella series that's going to kind of spin off from this series, so you still get the same kind of feeling, the same, different but new societies and new characters. So
Cool.
you never know what could happen in the future.
Pretty cool.
So yeah.
So if you're a fan of fantasy, and even if you're not, I would suggest getting these because they are really well written. I thoroughly enjoyed both of them. The Seer and the Soul Searcher are both available now. And you said The Silencer is coming out in February.
It's coming out.
And we want to thank you for joining us for another episode of Once Upon a Page. And be sure and click subscribe if you like the videos you see, and we'll see you next time.